Grizzly bear. I think that.
What'd you find there, Mike?
I found a nice chunk of chaga here on this old birch tree. Looks like it's either a white or yellow birch, but this is the world's richest vitamin E superfood, a parasitic fungus that grows on all birches, and you steep it like coffee. Grind it, chunk it, steep it, and drink it, and it'll cure almost anything.
Oh.
So we're gonna try to get this off here.
How old would you suspect something like that is to get to that size?
The one that's this big right here, the whole thing, that would be a 15 to 20-year-old chunk. Now I'm suspicious because of this cutout here, this hole, if it was harvested once before or if it just grew this way.
Oh.
So a chunk like this would be 10 to 12 years old, but this whole thing could potentially be over 20 years old. They grow slowly, so chaga is better when it's over 15 years old. It has multiple seasons of nutrients packed inside it.
It's close. Oh, jeez.
There she goes. Yeah, what a beautiful piece of chaga. You can see this black fungus on the outside, and this is where all the vitamins and vitamin E are stored. It's in the inside of the parasitic fungus. Birch bark has been traditionally used medicinally, so this saps up all the medicinal properties of birch and stores it all year long, and you can harvest it in the wintertime.
Awesome.
Yeah, looks like we got a little chunk to leave on there, and you always want to leave a little bit of chaga so it can keep growing. Otherwise that might never grow back, or it would take twice as long to grow back. So
okay, the ones that I've seen through the years have been closer to the base of a tree. Is that like the most nutrient?
You know, the nutrients don't change based on where it's on the tree.
Okay.
But they're sure a lot easier to get when they're at chest level.
Yeah.
I can't tell for sure, but looking through the woods here in the snow, it looks like we got some chaga on some of these older, gnarly looking birches. Oh yeah, certainly is. I look for the top of the treetops, look for the twisted old branches.
Yeah.
And then you trace them down, and here we go. We got 2 birch trees with chaga on them. This chunk right here has to be at least 20 years old, if not 30.
Oh.
Beautiful specimen.
Awesome.
So it's very tough for the untrained eye to find these old trees. And here we got 1, 2, 3 more. I don't see any chunks on these, but I originally saw this tree, how it split up top first. Now we got plenty for all the family members.
That's a giant.
Got another 3 or 4 year old chunk over here on this side.
So what'd you say, the sap is running through it and then it starts to freeze?
Yeah, so in the
winter?
growing season, the sap runs through the tree, and then the chaga parasitically draws off the sap and nutrients from the growing birch tree. And then it stops flowing in November, December, and the tree freezes and goes in dormancy. And then you can harvest the chaga and all its nutrients, which is stored inside it. So this chunk's a beautiful specimen. It's probably 20, 25 years old, if not older. And there's lots of other chunks that are growing off the edges of the tree. So this is a tree that you can mark and come back to after 4 or 5 years and keep harvesting off it.
Wow.
Got some good chunks coming down. We'll save those. Got more coming off. There it goes. quite a bit of snow on it, but this is a really beautiful specimen. It's probably at least, let's see here, 12 to 15 years old. 20-year-olds are kind of the size of a soccer ball. So this is right there.
Nice.
Back sides, nothing in here. So I can see we might have some over here on this tree.
Or is that just bark?
Yep.
Kind of mixed in there?
There's a little bit there, but there's really not much for us to harvest. I mean, it looks like a couple years worth. But that's what you gotta look for. Is look for this old birch and then some blemishes. Yeah, so we're just walking down the trail, and through the balsam limbs I could see this black looking ball, and I was like, right away knew it was chaga. There it is. Doesn't even look like a birch tree, but when you look up the tree, you start seeing the birch bark.
Yeah, it doesn't down here.
This tell you, this birch has such a big root system to it. Covered in snow, I bet you there's plenty on the roots too. When you find a tree that's
Oh wow, look at that, it's massive.
I mean, this chunk is absolutely huge. I mean,
holy cow.
this one's not wanting to cut. It's probably frozen pretty good. Another nice chunk. What's exciting though is we got that nice little inset piece there.
Yeah.
We should be able to just get right inside that and try that out.
Just enough to get up there and get a good angle with the hatchet. A couple whacks and it popped right out of there. That's cool. I'm hooked now. That's neat.
And we just got a little bit more on there. I mean, it's quite an advanced string or colony of fungus, so we're gonna leave quite a bit on the tree, and I think actually we're pretty comfortable. We'll just leave that for another year. This big birch is just doing just fine here, and there's plenty of other ones around.
Awesome. Cool.